There is a story about a Roman philosopher named Seneca, exiled to a barren island by the very emperor he had once served faithfully, stripped of his home, his position, and betrayed by people he trusted for years. And yet, from that island, he wrote some of the calmest, clearest words in human history, not about revenge, not about bitterness, but about something almost nobody manages to actually do. He let it go, completely, not because the betrayal didn't hurt, but because he understood something about pain that most people never learn until decades of carrying it have already worn them down. You know exactly who they are. The person who said something that still replays in your mind at random moments. A friend who disappeared when you needed them most. The betrayal that changed how you trust people, maybe permanently. You've probably tried to let it go before, told yourself you're over it. And then their name comes up, or memory surfaces, and you feel that same tightness in your chest, like no time has passed at all. Here's the truth nobody tells you. You're not failing at letting go because you're weak, or because you care too much, or because you're broken somehow. You're failing because you've been trying to let go the wrong way entirely. And the Stoics, who faced betrayal far worse than most people ever will, figured out the actual method 2,000 years before modern psychology gave it a name. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why the pain keeps returning, and exactly what actually makes it stop. Let's start with why letting go feels so impossible in the first place. Most people try to let go by telling themselves the person doesn't matter, that they don't care anymore, that they've moved on. But watch what actually happens when you do that. The feeling doesn't disappear. It goes underground. You're not releasing the pain, you're suppressing it. And suppressed pain doesn't die, it waits. It resurfaces at 3 in the morning, in arguments that have nothing to do with the original wound, in your inability to fully trust the next person who's actually good to you. Suppression feels like progress because the pain goes quiet for a while, but quiet is not the same as gone. The Stoics understood something different about pain, and it starts with a question almost nobody asks. What exactly are you holding on to? Not the person. The person is gone, or the relationship is gone, or the moment already happened and no longer exists anywhere except in your mind. What you're actually holding on to is a judgment, a story you keep telling yourself about what happened, what it means about you. They didn't just hurt me. They proved I'm not enough. They proved people always leave. They proved I was foolish to trust in the first place. That story, replayed over and over, is what keeps the wound open. Not the original event. The event ended the moment it happened. The story is the only thing still alive, and you are the one keeping it breathing, every single time you replay it. This is where Epictetus, another Stoic who understood suffering more intimately than most, gave the sharpest insight on this entire subject. He said that people are disturbed not by things, but by their judgments about things. Someone hurt you. That is a fact, unchangeable now, sealed in the past. But every time you replay it and feel that same fresh wave of pain, that pain is not coming from the past event. It's coming from a judgment you are making right now, in this present moment, about that event. Which means something remarkable. If the pain is coming from a present judgment, then it is one of the only things about this entire situation that is actually still in your control. Here is where most people get letting go completely backward. They think forgiveness means deciding the other person was right, or that what they did was acceptable, or that it didn't really matter. That's not what the Stoics taught, and it's not what actually works. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the best revenge is to not become like the person who wronged you. Notice what that actually means. It's not about them at all anymore. It's about what you become in your response. Every moment you spend consumed by resentment towards someone who hurt you is a moment you've handed them, willingly, from your one and only life. They already took something from you once. Staying bound to them through anger, replaying the wound, waiting for an apology that may never come. That's you handing them something a second time. except now you're the one doing it to yourself. So here is the actual method, the one the Stoics practiced, not the empty advice to just move on. First, separate the fact from the story. What actually happened, stated plainly, without the emotional narrative wrapped around it. Then notice the story you've attached to it, and ask if it's even true, or if it's just the most painful interpretation your mind reached for in a wounded moment. Second, stop waiting for anything from them. Not an apology, not an explanation, not justice. The moment your peace depends on something they have to do, you've placed your healing in the hands of someone who already showed you they can't be trusted with your well-being. Third, and this is the part almost nobody wants to hear, accept that the pain doesn't need permission to leave. You don't need to fully understand why it happened. You don't need closure handed to you by them. You can simply stop opening the wound yourself, one replayed memory at a time, starting right now, today, in this moment, regardless of whether they ever change or explain or apologize at all. Seneca, writing from exile, betrayed by people who once called him a friend, said that the wise man is not affected by injury because he has already prepared himself to expect it as a possibility, and refuses to build his peace on the good behavior of others. That is not coldness. That is freedom. It means your peace no longer depends on people being fair, being kind, being honest, or ever making things right. It depends only on you, which is the only place it was ever safe to depend in the first place. The next time that memory surfaces, the argument, the betrayal, the person who hurt you in a way you still feel somewhere in your chest, don't fight it and don't suppress it. Just notice it for what it actually is. Not a wound reopening. A story asking to be told one more time. And this time, you get to decide whether to tell it again, or finally, quietly, let it end. Rise like Rome. Because the strongest people you'll ever meet aren't the ones who never got hurt. They're the ones who stop letting the hurt run their life.